Truth Shall Set You Free by the author James Fuller. Rick could feel a cold trickle of sweat escaping his hairline and cut a path down his neck. Sweat generated from anxiety, regret, and fear. He wondered if all sweat had felt as foul on his skin, or if this time it was different. He couldn't remember, but he somehow doubted it. A life wasted with drugs, lies, corruption, and sin. It was no wonder he was here now. Nothing more than a contemptible shell of a former human being, withered and caged by his actions. It was so quiet here, which he didn't expect. Almost morbidly tranquil, in fact. His breathing was erratic. He needed to calm himself, to slow his limbs from the agitated shudders as the needle entered his dilated vein. He gasped with apprehension and wished he didn't have to look, but he had to. It was a compulsion, and he had made a promise to himself to watch, no matter the shame and despair that came with the deed. He couldn't escape the monster he had become, but he could ensure he would witness every aspect of it until the very end. He would know the full weight of his transgressions on the other side. Slowly, the flaxen-colored drug seeped through the cold steel into his subdued bloodstream. He could feel it burning and wanted to scream defiantly like a madman, but he had no one to scream at but himself. The tourniquet around his arm released, and the torrid sensation flooded up his arm, looking to conquer every inch of him that it could reach. It was an effect he once relished, craved, did anything to have. Anything. An addiction that cost him every little thing, even his humanity. His current state was a full testament to that. Rick could feel the prickling of the drug throughout him, numbing his flesh as it settled in. It was in his head already, tugging at his senses, trying to make him let go of his focus, a stronger drug than even he was used to. He almost did let go. It would be so much easier to succumb than to continue to, and he was a lost cause. But he relented to it. He would see this through. He had no more chances after this. He hardly even felt the second needle bore into his arm, merely a mute tug upon his skin. Had he not been looking, he wouldn't have even noticed. He didn't have long now before the drug's effect took hold of him fully. He found himself praying for strength before it was too late, praying for the courage to make things right before he succumbed any further. He could hear voices now, some bold and vicious, others murmurs of contempt. He blinked away the sweat that stung at his eyes and strained his ears, trying to understand all that was being said. Even if it might be in his head, he could not even tell anymore. His thoughts had begun to blur, as had his eyesight, but he fought for control all the same. He watched with silent animosity as his final dose was prepared. One last injection, and it would all be over. The monster would be dead. His sins avenged by those who deserved to have it most. And they did deserve it. He would make no false pretenses of that. It was now or never. He needed to find his strength, or his chance to atone would be forever lost, but his body would not heed his commands. The strength of the drugs was absolutely relentless in his tolerance and will. He tried to speak, but his tongue no longer held words he could bring forth, and panic took him. It took him. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. He needed to say something before it was over. The final drug entered his bloodstream, and he knew it was too late. He could feel his heart slowing. He wasn't even sure when his lungs had stopped drawing breath. His eyes were impossibly heavy. He could no longer hold them up. It's okay, he told himself. I will close them for but a moment and then try again. James, so beautiful. This is a really good story. I love that one. It's like it gets hopeful, and then it's really sad, and then it's like maybe this should be happening. Maybe he deserves it's a whole freaking range of emotions, all in like a few paragraphs. It's written amazingly well. Great job, James. I read another one of his stories. I'm not sure if you've heard it or not. But yeah, it was really beautiful as well. And I gotta say, it's like I don't even really have to try. Like it's when you don't really have to try, when all you have to do is read it. And it's just the way it's written, it helps a narrator. I can't explain how a writing can help a narrator narrate, but just how it's written. It's done so well. That was The Truth Shall Set You Free by James Fuller. You can find this story and many of his other short stories in his book, Broken Shards of a Masterpiece. It is available on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's available on audiobook or not, but you can definitely find his book and a lot of his other books on there as well.